Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm having a walk here in the countryside like yesterday, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about goal setting and achieving your goals. So many people, especially today, that is particularly easy to get distracted and to fall into procrastination, especially with social media and Instagram and like all the distraction that constantly try to get us to fall off track. And so what I want to share with you today is my framework that I've found to be a very effective framework that I use to achieve my goals, go towards my goals, and most importantly stay on track and not quit in the process. So this framework I actually copied this framework from the well-known investor Ray Dalio. I don't know if you've heard about him, but he is very famous because he actually was a very promising investor back in the 2000s, but took a very large bet against the financial crisis, and so he lost a lot of money and a lot of confidence from investors, and then he was able to regain all that by reflecting on his failures, and now I think he is one of the best investors out there. And he wrote a book which was called one second. The book was called Principles of Success, and I didn't read it all, but I've just started it. And at the beginning it talks about his story, and he immediately exposes the framework to success, which is setting a goal, evaluate all the obstacles that are between you and your goal, that are blocking you that are preventing you from achieving your goal, and then start to work against those obstacles. But so today I wanted to share with you my personal adaptation of that framework in my life, and the method that I've seen to work most effectively to prevent me to procrastinate, and most importantly to prevent me to give up on my goals. Because many times people set a goal, but they're not really thinking about the hard work that it takes to get to achieve that goal. So they set a lot of goals, but they don't think about actually paying the price while they're setting all those goals. So they end up having a bunch of things they want to do, but not taking action on any of them. So the way that the trick that I found is to take one single goal, set one single goal for your future that is very precise and very ambitious. And then you have to work toward that goal and obsess on that goal. So the first step is setting a goal. The goal that I've set, oh, there's a lot of birds right there. So the goal that I've set for myself is to achieve financial freedom, and as you can see on this channel, I chose to document that so that people can see that whatever you want to do in life, you can accomplish it. Because many times people are afraid that they will not achieve the goal. So one big thing that is blocking people from taking action is that they think that the thing that they want to do, it's not possible. So they think that even if they took action, even if they worked towards the goal every day, they are still gonna fail, because they're not 100% sure that their goal, the goal that they want to achieve, is feasible. So they end up losing against fear, and so they end up taken over by fear, and they start to give up on the goal and they do not take action. So a lot of people struggle with motivation nowadays because it's really hard to stay focused on your goal with all those distractions that are around us. And so I'm gonna give you some advice on how to overcome this problem. So you may have noticed that sometimes you feel a spark of motivation, but then maybe the day after you struggle to keep up the pace, and stop working because you don't see any results. And that's a very common problem. So the way I've kind of overcome that is to use this spark of motivation to work the hardest towards a single thing and focus all of your energy that is fueled by motivation on one single thing until you get some little result. That little result will then give you another rush of energy, and then you can use that energy to get to the second checkpoint. And each time that you get results, you start to feel more and more energized, and you enter this spiral of energy that continues to push you to work and to achieve even more results. So the hardest thing about this is getting started with the motivation you have. So what I try to do with whatever thing that I plan on doing is that for a week I'm laser focused on that thing, and I use all of my energy to work on that thing until I get my first result, and then it gets progressively easier. And so that's one of the most effective ways of getting started. And once you're on board, the only problem is making sure you're not falling off track. So making sure you don't take days off or you don't get distracted. And here comes the second part of the advice that I want to give you, that is blocking all the distractions. So what I've done to do this is, of course, trying to stay away from my phone from early in the morning so that I don't get the free dopamine that then destroys my ability to work hard. But most importantly, to start, because it's been a long time since I've started to try to block distractions. So as you're starting out, I think you should, first thing first, block all notifications, disable all notifications from every app, especially from social media apps, but even for other apps. Then you're gonna leave only messages, so WhatsApp and maybe phone calls. Then the second step is to block apps. I use this very useful app called Opal, which allows me to set a time frame in the day where I'm not allowed to open distracting apps, and the only way that I have to open those apps is to click take a break on the time block. And to do that, I have to wait for a predefined period of time that the more breaks I do, the more time I have to wait between those before taking a break. So it's very useful because it helps you not take too many breaks. So it helps you progressively getting used to not being able to open distracting apps. Because if you need to open Instagram for one time to check something, you just have to wait for like 20 seconds. But then if it's the third time in a row that you're opening Instagram, you'll have to wait for 3 minutes. So it really helps you get the reward path, the dopamine reward path of Instagram out of your brain. Okay, so the next step after that is to of course, put your phone on silent mode, so not allow do not allow for your phone to ring when you get a notification or a call, just to vibrate. And then after that, the next step is to eliminate the vibration. So the only way, so you can get interrupted by your phone, the only way that you can see that you got a notification is actually taking up your phone. And so maybe if you're doing some type of work on the computer and you have your phone right beside you, you don't get interrupted while you work, and just after you finish your task you can open your phone and see if you got some notification or missed calls. So I think that may be it. You also want to avoid consuming content on YouTube or on your laptop, and you also want to avoid eating trash food. So if you stay healthy outside, so if you stay healthy and you go to the gym and you care about your body, it's gonna actually be easier to get hard work done. Another really important thing that you have to keep in mind is this rule that the harder path is always the best path. So many people try to find a shortcut, or maybe if they have the choice between two different ways of doing the work, they'll obviously choose the easiest and most fastest way of doing the work. But actually that is detrimental in the long term, because doing hard things helps you learn and get stronger. And so if you do things the hard way first, when you'll be always better of someone who's doing things the easy way and taking the shortcut. So for example, maybe I could just do a podcast, or I could just do my YouTube videos in my native language, which is Italian. But doing them the hard way, so in English, in the long term will help me to get better and speaking and giving presentations in English. And so maybe compared to another aspiring YouTuber who's starting out in Italian, it's gonna be easier for me to scale and to reach a global public, whereas he will be forced to stick to the Italian market. And maybe if he decides to go to the United States to do some collabs, or to do a collab with a more international YouTuber, he will struggle to communicate and the content will be worse. So this way that I'm doing is harder, is obviously one of the downsides is that it's easier for me to fall off track. My content will of course be of lower quality than that of an Italian YouTuber who speaks in Italian, or that of a native English YouTuber. But I think the main reason why I'm doing that is that will help me grow and sharpen more my abilities. So always take the hard path. And that was it for today's video. I hope you enjoy this type of content where I'm just walking in the nature and giving a speech with no cuts. And I hope that I'm providing you with some value. I'm really sorry for the quality. The fact that the fact that I'm recording with my iPhone camera, and yeah, of course the videos will get better over time. I will, for sure, the more I practice with speaking English, I will get better. I will also move to the United States very soon, so I'll have the opportunity to get better at speaking in English. And also, once I settle down and get into my new routine in the United States, I will also have much more free time and time to edit a bit the videos and focus on improving the overall quality. Right now my main focus is to get better at talking to the camera, and yeah, so I will, in another moment, I will focus more on the actual quality itself rather than the content. So that was it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see my path to $1 million, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single video, and leave a like to support me so the YouTube algorithm pushes my video to more people. And I'll see you in the next video.